Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. It's our Shabbat class, the 9th of March, 2024. Okay, our topic inside the room is we're dealing with the discovery of new discoveries after Jacob Rothschild death. There's a lot of information coming out after he passed away, so I'm gonna kind of deal with that, and then I'm gonna deal with the Book of Jubilees, also reading out of that. So you can go to our channel, the Prophets of Awakening, check out our videos. We have over 900 or so videos that you can browse through, check out the information, and if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, okay? And our hours of operation is Tuesday through Friday, from 7 to 9. Is when we are in operation. On Tuesdays, we have advanced Bible study for all male and females. Wednesday night, we have our reading through the Tanakh. Then we have women's advanced Bible study on Thursday night. And then on Clubhouse, we have our men's advanced Bible study on Friday nights. It's also from 7 to 9. Then we come back on Shabbat from 10 to 12 in the morning a.m. Eastern time. We have our morning Shabbat, and the evening Shabbat is from 7 to 9, from 6 to 7. We close the Shabbat out. Okay, and for those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. We don't deal with the New Testament. We don't deal with the apostles, Jesus Christ, none of that. So we deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah, first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by our Redeemer, the Lord of Hosts, okay, which consists of our laws, statutes, judgments, our way of life, okay, as Israelites, okay. Shalom and welcome to the channel, and welcome to our Shabbat class. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, Sabbath prayer. We're going to read the Psalms, have some interesting current events. We have some need to know information, and then we'll open it up for some Q&A. Then we go into our topic, and from there we'll do some reading from the scriptures. Then we'll close out. Okay, it's a moment of silence for the Lord of Hosts and all that He's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Okay. Oh Lord, we come before Thee at this hour on Your day that You have given us for rest on your Shabbat, praising You and honoring You. Because your position both in heaven and upon the earth, the position in which the Creator Yahweh have given unto Thee. And through Your Spirit and Your counsel, O Lord, we have awakened to know who we are as a people and who You are as our Savior and our Redeemer. And we are thankful for all that You have done, and we are eagerly searching out the scriptures that we may be in the right place at the right time upon Your arrival to this planet. We love You and we seek You daily, O Lord. There is none else besides Thee to redeem us. We see You in the affairs of the world, and we are faithfully awaiting Your deliverance. Peace be unto You. Okay? So with that being said, I'll read the Psalms. Okay? Okay, I'll read Psalms 31. It's in Thee, O Lord, do I put my trust. Okay? So, David, in Thee, O Lord, do I put my trust. Let me never be ashamed. Deliver me in Thy righteousness. Bow down thine ear to me. Deliver me speedily. Be Thou my strong rock, for a house of defense, to save me. For Thou art my rock and my fortress. Therefore, for Thy name's sake, lead me and guide me. Pull me out of the net that they have laid privately for me, for thou art my strength. Into thine hands I commit my spirit. Thou hast redeemed me, O Lord God of truth. I have hated them that regard lying or vanities, but I trust in the Lord. I will be glad and rejoice in thy mercy, for thou hast considered my trouble. Thou hast known my soul in adversities, and hast not shut me up in the hands of the enemy. Thou hast set my feet in a large room. Have mercy upon me, O Lord, for I am in trouble. Mine eyes is consumed with grief, yea, my soul and my belly. For my life is spent with grief, and my tears with sighing. My strength faileth because of mine iniquity, and my bones are consumed. I was a reproach among all my enemies, but especially among my neighbors, and a fear to my acquaintance. They that did see me without fled from me. I am forgotten as a dead man out of mind. I am like a broken vessel, for I have heard the slander of many. Fear was on every side while they took counsel together against me. They devised to take away my life, but I trusted in thee, O Lord. I said, thou art my God. My times are in thy hands. Deliver me from the hand of mine enemies and from them that persecute me. Make thy face to shine upon thy servant. Uh, Save me for thy mercy's sake. Let me not be ashamed, O Lord, for I have called upon thee. Let the wicked be ashamed, and let them be silent in the grave. Let the lying lips be put to silence, which speak grievous things proudly and contemptuously against the righteous. Oh, how great is thy goodness, which thou hast laid up for them that fear thee, which thou hast wrought for them that trust in thee before the sons of men. Thou shalt hide them in the secrets of the presence from the pride of man. Thou shalt keep them secretly in a pavilion from the strife of tongues. Blessed be the Lord, for he hath showed me his marvelous kindness in a strong city. For I said in my haste, I am cut off from before thine eyes. Nevertheless, thou heardest the voice of my supplication when I cried unto thee. O love the Lord, all ye his saints, for the Lord preserveth the faithful and plentifully reward the proud or doer. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart, all ye that hope in the Lord. So that was Psalm 31. And I wanted to shine a light on 14. But I trusted in thee, O Lord, and I said, thou art my God. My times are in thy hands. Deliver me from the hands of my enemies and from them that persecute me. So when he says his enemies, he also says in another verse of 11, I was a reproach among all my enemies, but especially among my neighbors, and a fear to my acquaintances. They that did see me without fled from me. So you go to Psalms 83. You can see what he's talking about. Psalms 83, okay, says, keep not silent, O Lord, and hate not, hold not thy peace. Be not still, O God, for lo, thy enemies make a tumult. They that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, consulted against thy hidden ones. And they said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may no more be in remembrance. They have consulted together with one consent. They are a confederacy against thee. So when you look at that, it's his enemies, the Gentiles, and not only that, go to verse 6. Tabernacle Edom, the Ishmaelites, Moab, Hagan, Agreens, Gibal, Ammon, all these, Amalek, all these are neighbors and kinfolks that's got a problem with Israel, and they really got a problem with David because he's the Lord's anointed one. So they really got a problem with him, but these are people he's interacting with. He says his acquaintances. So these people that's in his face, that he around, he dealing with. Okay, any comments on that? Okay, we're gonna go to some current events. Okay. Well,
Today on the newscast with Rob.
1 minute. Let me get this right. Okay. Okay.
For Epstein case, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill Thursday authorizing the release of a cache of documents relating to the late financier and sexual deviant to a grand jury. Speaking at a press conference at the Palm Beach Police Department, DeSantis said Americans deserve to know who was involved in Epstein's sex trafficking operations. Let's watch.
We're now sitting here decades later, and you've had Epstein, and then Maxwell is actually.
So you got to think about that. What the governor of Florida got to do with Epstein? There's something brewing with this.
Actually in prison in Florida, and yet nothing else has ever happened. And to not have justice on this is something that has been a big black spot on our justice system. So the legislature, and why did that happen? Well, it happened because you had somebody that was very rich and well connected and was able to engineer an outcome that the average citizen would likely never have been able to do, and that's wrong.
Sound like Trump to me.
The legislation gives a green light to publicly disclosing documents if the subject of the inquiry is dead, the inquiry involves a minor, the inquiry has been previously disclosed by a court order, and if the state attorney is notified of the revelations. The bill is set to go into effect July 1st. So DeSantis, I think this is a good move. He said nobody should be protected from facing justice due to their wealth or status, and those who harm children should be exposed and punished to the fullest extent of the law. Very agreeable statement from Ron DeSantis. I think the fact that the circuit judge denied the request to release the information, the documents from the grand jury until the law goes into effect in July is a bit ridiculous, but it's really difficult to sit back and watch judges protect the wealthiest people in the country for really no reason at all. Like, there's no reason why these documents shouldn't be released. They're going to likely redact any arguments between the prosecutor and the defense attorney. That's not information you get from the grand jury, but you do get the evidence, which the public has been demanding for quite some time.
Yeah, and this could potentially unveil the full client list. Previously, we got some documents from the Ghislaine Maxwell case released in January of this year, but we didn't get anything related to the client list. Instead, we got some of the previous accusations and reporting on this, which included the names of Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, Richard Branson, Stephen Hawking. Bill Gates was mentioned because of an alleged affair that he had. Bill Clinton was named quite a bit because he was apparently trying to kill stories at Vanity Fair on behalf of Jeffrey Epstein. But what this bill would do is give us access to a lot more information in regards to the allegations of the trafficking of minors, because the information that would be released is from that 2006 grand jury indictment. And the 2006 case was when the FBI actually investigated Jeffrey Epstein for a little over a year, I believe. They ended up compiling a report of 34 minors who were eligible for restitution, reporting about the actual investigation from Julie Brown in the Miami Herald. Later found that there were at least 80 victims. She was able to locate about 60 of them. And at the time, what ended up happening was, thanks to negotiations between Alex Acosta, who would later become Labor Secretary, and the famous Harvard lawyer Alan Dershowitz, Jeffrey Epstein ended up getting just an 18-month sentence and had to register as a sex offender and pay restitution to the victims, even though he was originally charged with very serious felonies regarding sexual misconduct with minors. Alex Acosta has said that the reason that he went through with this sweetheart plea deal is because he was told that Jeffrey Epstein was some sort of intelligence agent for the government, and that it was over his head and he should leave it alone. So in addition to new hearing about who the clients were for Jeffrey Epstein and who else was involved in the alleged trafficking of these minors on a very large scale. I hope that this also helps us get closer to why exactly he was let off the hook so many times. Who was he blackmailing? Who did he have information on? Who was he in cozy with? And who really stood to be the most damaged by the details of this indictment getting out to the general public?
Okay. Anybody have any comments on that? It's like this guy won't go away. Go ahead.
Right. And, he knows how it works. You know what I'm saying? So it's more behind the story than we know, which will come out later. But with him wanting to do that, it is something that he's trying to reveal on a certain person. He's trying to bring out on a certain person. Because after all these years, right, you're just doing this. You know what I'm saying? You're not new to the game. So you know how all the behind the scenes shenanigans work.
Right. And then what you got to do, Jeff Epstein? You're the governor of Florida.
Right.
Where the hell that's coming from? So it's like they said, it's going to be some crazy stuff going to go down here before this election starts. They got all kind of stuff playing, and the world ain't going to be the same.
Shalom. Just like we've always said, nothing new under the sun. They've always been doing this, and then when they get caught, everybody want to tell on each other then. But they've been having this kind of backdoor charades and shenanigans and things that are unethical and immoral going on for many, many years.
Right. Exactly right. Yeah. So that's what they do. Like I was saying before. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yes, I just want to say one thing. If he was still in the race, this will not be publicized. He will not be going in that direction that he's going in. He's out of the race now for president. So he's spilling his beans now, trying to get, like you said, everybody involved in the spotlight. But like Michelle said, it's one particular person he's probably going after. But if he doesn't get that, he may come back into the race as being one of the vice president or something. I think that's probably what he wants to do, is have something over someone's head that can probably get him to a point where he wants to be.
Right, exactly. So he's like I said, this the same guy that's attacking Black history, critical race theory, and all that. He's the same guy, right? So it's something going on with that, and it's gonna come out. And like I said, it ain't gonna be good. Okay, we got another one right here.
Western countries all on board for Agenda 2030. The people in charge of climate finance for the UN, Mike Bloomberg, the billionaire, and Mark Carney. I think your viewers know enough about Mark Carney to know why that's insane. And to think that Mark Carney and Jamie Dimon and Mike Bloomberg and Bill Gates and all of these guys just care so much about the planet and not about robbing you of all of your wealth, which is what they've spent their entire careers doing. Come on, guys. We have to like watch what people do and like judge them by their actions.
At first glance, the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which, amongst other things, aims to end poverty and hunger in all forms and dimensions, protect the planet from degradation, from urgent action on climate change, seems like the perfect idea, one that will end all the rife in the world and bring everlasting peace and healing to our planet. However, the people at the helm of global affairs have never been known not to have a hidden agenda. It's no different this time. Not only have our leaders promised on behalf of peoples everywhere to end the terrible situations they've caused and continue to cause with their greed, but they've also put some very questionable characters in charge of saving people from hunger and the planet from degradation. According to the UN, the agenda will be achieved through a global partnership that will bring together governments, the private sector, civil society, the United Nations systems, and other players. The private sector here includes big tech, big pharma, large commercial banks, and investment firms run by the 1% of the 1%, and the leading civil society is no other than the highly controversial World Economic Forum. It is quite difficult to believe that billionaires who emit at least 1 million times more carbon than the average person with their yachts and jets and through their many corporations actually care about saving the planet. The actual goal here is quite different, and according to popular investigative journalist Whitney Webb, it is more sinister and terrifying than you can ever imagine. During a recent interview with TFTC, Webb reveals that the global 1%ers, through this Agenda 2030, plan to completely subjugate humans and impose some very diabolical limitations on private property ownership. Ever heard the phrase, "you'll own nothing and be happy"? This is the exact future the human race faces if immediate actions are not taken to end these terrifying plots. We will now bring you clips from Whitney's interview as she speaks further about this partnership, the plans for a digital ID for everyone, and how they will use chaotic incidents like shutting off the internet to get everyone more agreeable to their plans. As you watch, please share and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thank you and enjoy the video.
I mean, what we have right now is them literally tokenizing all their existing rackets to move it into this new, like, fourth industrial revolution paradigm. That's literally what is happening across the board, and people just, like, don't recognize it. And they're cloaking it in all this stuff, like, specifically with, like, SDGs and Agenda 2030. It's like, this will make a better world. And then you actually, like, look at it, and it's like, this is insane. Why are all bankers in charge of this? I hate it so much. But I mean, you go back into like the UN Secretary General Kofi Annan, like at the end of the 90s was like, yeah, so you know how we used to be at least viewed as like the public sector, you know, the public sectors of the world all coming together to like democratically vote on stuff. Well, now we've basically been taken over by corporations, and now the business of the businesses of the world is our business. You know, I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said. In order to create this space where they want to like push people into this new system, there's going to be chaos and there's going to be instability. And so the comfort and convenience that keeps people asleep will be disrupted. What people do in that point in time is the most critical about this whole thing, about how it plays out. Seriously, like that is the most important window. And again, that is why it's so important to be local. Because, okay, there's a big cyber tech on the financial system. The internet goes down for a couple of days. What are people going to do? They're going to go out in the street and look for answers, figure out what's going on. This is why it's important to know what's going on and couple that with having, you know, connections in your local community so you can direct people about what needs to be done and what's happening at that point in time. It's like very important. Well, also the internet, when it turns back on, isn't going to be like the internet now. At all. They're going to put AI in charge of like literally all content. Your ID is going to be tied to not just everything you post online, but everything you read and consume, every site you visit. And they plan to pass all of that through AI to determine if you're a threat to the system or not. This is all like predictive policing. All of this stuff is built into this system. Specifically in the US, the Biden administration already has the policy framework developed. They've had it since, I mean, they first came into power in 2021. Eric Schmidt, right, who basically runs like AI national security policy for the US too, and is like funding all this science and technology policy stuff. Basically, key officials in that of the Biden administration are being paid, their salaries are being paid by Eric Schmidt. It's like super illegal, and Politico reported on it and like nothing was done. They were like, well, I see you found out, and that is that. That guy has an insane amount of power. He was just on a podcast talking about what needs to be done about misinformation. And he was saying, we need to get everyone's ID tied to social media. And
so we do some research on Eric Schmidt.
Then when people post misinformation, report them to law enforcement. Remember how that guy posted stuff about how he hated Joe Biden? And how Joe Biden shouldn't come in his neighborhood and all this stuff on Facebook, and then the FBI shot him in front of his house, and he was like an old disabled guy. Eric Schmidt's idea is a very bad idea. It's a very bad idea. Eric Schmidt is also a dangerous fascist who controls a large amount of US government policy right now. and how the government and the intelligence agencies and the military plan to use AI.
In a 2023 report, the Europol Innovation Lab estimated that by 2025, about 90% of the content available on the internet will be produced with the help of artificial intelligence. According to Whitney, the plan is to subjugate the entire global population and ensure that humans can no longer think for themselves. This will make us subservient enough to take anything the ruling class offers us so they can keep their throne while we keep whatever little trinkets they hand down. She further reveals that there are well-formed plans to put artificial intelligence in charge of the internet. AI will not only be in charge of censoring everything that appears on the internet, but will also be used to make the lion's share of online content. With AI dominating the information environment, whoever programs AI and stipulates the information it's allowed to publish or approve will dictate how people think, when they think, and what they are allowed to think about. When these diabolic plans are fully in motion, Whitney warns that people's cognitive abilities will be so completely diminished that we won't be able to perceive reality or make sense of anything without AI doing it for us. So, how do we stop what's coming? What are the actions you can take today to protect your finances, your data, your family, and your community? Whitney shares some ideas in the other half of the interview. Here are more clips from the interview.
And so what has to be done is people have to divest from Silicon Valley and Wall Street as much as possible. Because basically, what I call the blob that basically runs the US, it's the national security state, it's Silicon Valley and it's Wall Street. Okay, it's harder to divest from the US government if you're living in the US than it is to divest from big tech and Wall Street. You can take your money out of JP Morgan and Wells Fargo and Citi, and you can stop using Google products, Microsoft products. You can not use OpenAI maybe, which is basically Microsoft, and all of this other stuff, because they plan to do a lot of bad stuff with your data, like a lot of very bad things. Here's an example that's very black-pilling. Sorry, everybody. Okay, so what's going on right now in Israel, right? The IDF uses an AI algorithm that they literally call the gospel. And they said, the IDF officials have said that before the gospel, they identified 15, 20 targets to assassinate in Gaza a day. Now that they use the gospel, the AI algorithm identifies hundreds, right? And what are the metrics for identifying who gets to live and who dies? Well, they won't tell anybody. But a lot of the people that have been killed have been women and children. Was it because they liked a post that Hamas made on a social media network? Was it because their cousin is in Hamas? Was it because they went to a person's house who a relative of Hamas lives there? I mean, it's very broad, isn't it? No one really knows. So it's very likely that because of the surveillance dragnet that Israeli cybersecurity companies test out first in Palestine and then export around the world, because that cybersecurity segment of Israel's economy is like a major part of their GDP. They test it out there, right? So Palestinians are some of the most surveilled, data harvested people on the planet. This data that's been harvested on Palestinians is now being used to decide which of them are blown up or not.
Yeah.
What happens when we get to that point? Do you know who runs the AI weapon stuff in the US that's also being tested? Not just, I mean, Israel has their own, but the US has it too. It's being tested in Ukraine to decide who lives and dies. It's Peter Thiel and Palmer Luckey, who created Oculus, which was sold to Facebook because of Peter Thiel, and all of this stuff. It's the same crowd. Peter Thiel runs Palantir, that you harvest your data for intelligence agencies. Every intelligence agency in the US uses it, and it profiles people, and they can label you as subversive. And Palantir is the outgrowth of total information awareness that I mentioned earlier. Palantir was literally created to replace that. It's involved with the border stuff too. Well, they have this huge surveillance, autonomous dragnet on the border, Anduril set up. It's obviously not stopping people from coming in. Is it to stop people from coming out? They want everyone's data. I mean, data has been a huge part of this play for a really long time. And now we're giving away more of our data than ever, and more intimate parts of our data. And now they have tools that use that data that can do awful things if we let them. And it doesn't mean we have to live without AI or any of this stuff. Like, if you want to use it, okay, but we have to divest from big tech AI, because they are trying to use AI to turn us into a like giant underclass of subhumans who, I mean, this Kissinger-Schmidt book is so crazy, and I encourage everyone to read it because they literally lay out that it's going to create neo-feudalism. They don't use that term, but basically they say there will be two classes of people. There will be the people that program and maintain and set the objective functions of AI. And then there will be the people that AI acts upon who lose the ability to understand what AI is doing to them.
Okay, any comments on that? That's Wendy Well. Check her out. And look at all the way all this. Go ahead.
No, sir, I'll let you finish. Thank you.
Somebody else had something?
Shalom, Brother Leonard. What caught my attention is when it first came on and they said, I think the guy mentioned, he said diabolical limitations, right? So they already know what they are doing or trying to do is not right. They I always say when they sit around a round table, they are thinking of the next move, and their next moves are never righteous moves. They're always something devilish that they are trying to do to limit us. So with that being said, you know, with how the internet is going now, AI is going now, we're able to come across more information than ever. Nobody can say I don't know, because all you have to do now is just put it in and research it and come back the next day. Whatever didn't come up for you that day, log in the next day. More information is going to come up.
Right. And what it reminds me of is, we say with so much wickedness going on the earth, it reached up to heaven, and those four angels said, let us go down and see what's going on with the imagination of man's mind. That's what this is. It says evil continuously and nothing good.
Right. Yes, and I was thinking about Isaiah 45:3, right? He said, I will give thee the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places, right? That thou may knowest that I, the Lord, which called thee by name, am the God of Israel. So no matter what they try to do, the Lord is always going to come through. We just have to let him go before us, because he says he'll make crooked places straight. So, you know, like I said, we can't trust nothing that they do.
Right.
That diabolical limitations really stuck out to me when he said that.
Right. Somebody else had something?
Yes, sir. In Isaiah 10:28, it was. I'm thinking it's something like that. Also, he has come to. I don't know how to pronounce the name. Aiath. Is that? Yes. Well, Athea, I think he has passed through. These words I cannot pronounce. Migron. It's on. It's in Isaiah 10, verse 28.
Okay.
Let me see if I can say it again. He has come to Athea. He has passed through Maron at Mashis, his store, to store his. He stores his baggage.
Okay.
With that, I'm assuming he's talking about what's going on now, far as we're gonna what they were saying about AI, and just like Sister Michelle was saying, you can go on the internet and get everything, but just like Wendy said, after a while, once it comes back on, they're gonna feed us false information. They're gonna have us storing, they're stored up a lot of things that's not gonna be correct. It's like she said, once it goes back on, here you go, you looking up stuff, and AI can spit out all kinds of stuff that gets everyone in another chaos of thinking this is okay, this is real, just like they mess with the Bible. and taking books and switching it around and, you know, getting the information all screwed up that we have to dissect it again to figure out what was put first and how these people who wanted to rewrite or put things into the Bible where it doesn't belong, JC in the Old Testament, which he was never there. And so when AI comes back, it's going to put things where it doesn't belong. And as you go on the internet, you'll think that it's correct, but it's not.
Right, right. It's hidden. That's how they operate. AI be operating, but it'll be hidden. So anyway, Isaiah chapter 10, if we go to verse 24, it tells you he's talking about in 28, says 24. Therefore, thus said the Lord God of hosts, my people that dwelleth in Zion, be not afraid of the Syrian. That's what he's talking about. The Syrian, which is the Syrian people, the Syrian army. That's who passing through. He came in to Ether. He was passed to Macron and at Micah. So it's an army, conquering army that's coming. Just like in Jeremiah with the north, king of the north, or that a scourge is coming out of the north. That's the Nebuchadnezzar, his army coming. So that's the same thing right here. The Assyrian army is coming. They're the ones that got the 10 tribes and took them to Assyria. That's what that's about. And so anyway, if you look at that, this is nothing new under the sun. When he was talking about the war that's going on, all these wars going on, they testing grounds for this new technology they got. So you say, what are you talking about? That's what Vietnam was. They come up with all these new weapons. They have to find some kind of way to test them. So they'll create a war. Like I said, they know where all the tensions at, all the strife between different countries, or where these different areas are at. There's a lot of tension going on. So they go there and start a war there, and then test all these weapons. That's all Israel doing now is testing AI weapons over in like she was showing. Where they used to can bomb multiple places, like 10 at one time. Now they can do 100 or so because of the AI. So they're testing all that. And in America doing the same thing in Ukraine. That's all they doing, testing equipment, getting rid of old equipment and testing new equipment. And at the same time, they reducing the population. Like I said, it's nothing new. They did it in Vietnam. And especially in Vietnam, when you go back to what the blacks, you go back to, I talked about this before. You got back then, it was just like around where I'm at. I'm in this little town, country town in Louisiana, but it was a black communities that had 8, 9, 10 children. You had the firstborn son, which is he just like the daddy. It's like a second daddy. Okay, when Vietnam, we was growing. They know who we are. You had Chicago was flourishing. You had Harlem, New York was flourishing. Same thing. Had these families, 7, 8, 9 people had what we was just talking about last night with the firstborn son. He's like another daddy, right? And so, and we wasn't really dealing with these drugs. It might have been a little marijuana they dealt with, but they weren't dealing with all these crazy exotic drugs they got now. So they created that war. That's who went to war. That firstborn son and maybe a couple of his brothers. That was an attack on us. They killed all. You go to every household, that oldest boy missing. And you got to go look at what was going on in America. We was at war with them for our rights. And leaving. A lot of people don't know it, but we wanted to leave then. So they attacked us with that Vietnam. Then he came back. That spirit went away for a minute. He came back again, Then they brought Obama on the scene, quelled it again. So all this stuff is what this lady Wendy Webb talking about. When you look at it from a biblical perspective, you can see it. It's plain, this is all they're doing, and it's coming down now to. It used to be they'll do something diabolical and shut us down, and it might last 50 or 60 years or so. But now that spirit is coming back, right back. So they got to keep coming with all this drama. That's why it's so much chaos, because they got to keep trying to quell it. But we know because of prophecy, it ain't no more quelling. It's over with. Most High on the move. Any comments on that?
Yes, sir. All praises. Yes.
And that's what we're looking at. And like that knowledge is just coming out from out of the woodworks. Everything they've done. That's what this guy Sanchez with the critical race theory. All that information coming out, what they done, how diabolical they is. And then you can see that we ain't no kin. They got a different origin than we got. But they got everybody fooled Christianity and Catholicism that we all got the same origin, but we don't have the same origin. And it's becoming more and more evident. And you're starting to see what the angels talking about in the scriptures and what Lord of Hosts talking about is them. They the scourge. They the ones reason why the flood had to come. And Sodom and Gomorrah, all that. It's them. And they hid that with Christianity. Okay, so I got some need to know information right here. And this is what I was talking about a little bit last night. How we talked about it last week about these mosques, like over last year, in 2023, and even now in 2024, they didn't destroy like 1,200 and something mosques, and they got India doing. India is the prime minister or the president of India. They didn't task them to do that. But check this out. Like I say, what you see happening now is they building up for this. They want this temple built. These Edomites. And the problem is the temple that's on the Temple Mount. They got to find a way to get that out the way.
Ramadan right around the corner.
But it's got to be. It ain't no slick way to do it. When they do it, all hell gonna break loose.
Iran and Hamas make the Temple Mount in Jerusalem a flashpoint once again. Get my take next. Hey folks, Eric Stacklebeck here. Welcome to the Watchman Newscast. Well, it is that time of year again. Ramadan is right around the corner.
So I want to say this before I play this. So what you see them doing in Gaza, it's going to expand to the whole Arab world. That's why they're testing it now, getting ahead of what they know the Arabs going to do when they knock this mosque off.
The Muslim holiday begins on Monday, March 11th. And folks, there are serious concerns that, yet again, Hamas and its patrons in Iran will turn Ramadan into a very volatile month in the world's most volatile and chaotic region, the Middle East. Now, a few things here to catch you up on. Number one, there have been a lot of debate in Israel's security cabinet about what to do on the Temple Mount during Ramadan. Remember, in past years, Hamas has used the Temple Mount as a rallying cry to instigate attacks against Israel, saying again and again that Israel is, quote, defiling the Temple Mount, and in particular, the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which obviously sits atop the Temple Mount. So there was a lot of debate. Remember, May 2021, a war we covered extensively here on the Watchman Newscast. Hamas launched a war as Ramadan closed, and for them, it was all about, again, Al-Aqsa and those accusations that Israel was defiling Al-Aqsa. That was a bloody 12-day war, again, instigated by Hamas, and obviously with a major war unfolding right now in Gaza, there are serious concerns in Israel that Hamas will do it once again. Why? Because they're saying exactly that. Just last week, Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh called on thousands of Muslims, hundreds of thousands, to march on the Al-Aqsa Mosque during Ramadan. And of course, the puppet master in Tehran is looming in the background and pulling the strings and looking to ignite the region, in particular, again, Jerusalem. So today, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said, look, we are not going to curb worship atop the Temple Mount for Muslim worshipers. We believe that freedom of worship in Jerusalem is paramount. There has been, as I mentioned a minute ago, a serious internal debate, though, between Bibi and other ministers in his security.
So let's look at that. So they had for forever and ever, they talked about brags and they lifted up this Iron Dome system they had that could stop all these missiles that coming into Israel. And now all of a sudden, it's not as good as they said it was. It's rocket. It's, these Arabs are shooting rockets in there, and it's it's penetrating that Iron Dome. So guess what? They're gonna use that as and make it look as if they shot rockets in there. The Arabs shot the rockets in there, and they blowed up the mosque. Just like with this last attack that started this last war, like the guy said, all this high-tech technology you got and surveillance and all that, how did these people bum rush in there and steal 200 or some Israelis and take them out as hostages and then do all the damage that they done? Because they set it up. Just like they set this up. We've been looking at they got everything in place. They got the menorah, the golden menorah. They got all the so-called fake furniture that we see was given to Moses in the book of Exodus that Moses had to build. And they got all that. They got the priest already. They get the garments, everything. Only thing is, temple. They need to free up that Temple Mount to build that temple. That's what all this chaos about. And they got to find some kind of way to do that. But these Arabs already know. If anything happens to that Temple Mount, they know it's them. And that's when all hell gonna break loose. But they already prepared. We're gonna send the whole world into chaos. Play a little more of this.
Security cabinet, in particular, Itamar Ben-Gvir, who want Muslim worship curtailed during Ramadan, again, because of those concerns over a major explosion, quite literally, atop the Temple Mount in the coming month. And with the region right now, folks, an absolute tinderbox as Israel and Hamas are going toe-to-toe in Gaza. Many are anticipating this coming Ramadan with the kind of anticipation that is more dread than a hopeful time of prayer and introspection, needless to say. So our good friend Yair Pinto is on the case here, covering this story on the ground in Jerusalem. You've seen Yair here on The Watchman. You can also subscribe to his great channel at TBN Israel right here.
And like I said, the lowly Christian had no clue about this stuff. That's what's in the works. Any comments? Okay. I'm going to open it up for some questions, comments, before we go into our topic for discussion. Anybody have anything they want to talk about, bring up, if they came across any research they was doing, they want questions, comments? Okay.
For me, no, sir.
Anybody else have anything? Okay. So we have no feedback. We go to this right here. I don't know if anybody familiar with it, but the Rothschilds, they supposed to be the richest family, these Edomites, the richest family in the world. They behind a lot of the things that you see going on. They tied to previous families before us that hoodwinked everything, turned the world upside down, lied about information and all that. So I'm gonna play that because this guy, I think his name Jacob Rothschild, he just passed away. But anyway, let's play this.
The arts are posting online mourning his death, but there's also a number of people creating a stir online.
Jacob Rothschild's death has been making waves, with some questioning why he should be celebrated at all. However, in the wake of his passing, new footage has emerged, revealing shocking details that promise to challenge conventional narratives and alter perceptions. These revelations have the potential to reshape our understanding of Jacob Rothschild and his legacy.
In our family, we've always tried to keep love in the family.
Family secrets. In the first half of the 1800s, the Rothschild family, led by Mayor Amschel Rothschild, began their ascent to power and wealth. But to truly understand their story, we must go back to the origins of the family. Mayor Amschel Rothschild was born in 1744 in the Jewish ghetto of Frankfurt, then part of the Holy Roman Empire. His father, Amschel Moses Rothschild, worked as a money changer and silk cloth dealer. The family surname Rothschild was derived from the house where a Rothschild ancestor, Isaac Elkanan, lived in Frankfurt. Isaac's house was known as Zum Rotenschild, meaning at the Red Shield in German. This name became the foundation of the Rothschild name. Over time, the family's business activities evolved from coin and bill of exchange dealing to banking. Mayor Amschel Rothschild married the daughter of another court factor for the Duke of
banking. So when you look at banking today, like I was telling you about not Citibank, but Bank of America. It's coming collapse. It's coming from here. They the ones invented the banking system, usury and all that. That's why they got so much money. So now what they're getting ready to do is collapse the banking system because they control it.
Saxony, and together they had many children, 5 boys and 5 girls. As his sons grew older, Mayor Amschel sent them to different capitals in Europe to open branches, ensuring the family's international recognition and financial security. His eldest son, Amschel Meyer Rothschild, took charge of the main German branch in Frankfurt. However, he died without leaving any heirs, leading to the next head of the family being his nephew from Salomon's line. Salomon Rothschild went on to open the Austrian branch in Vienna. He had 2 children, Anselm and Betty. Betty, intriguingly, married her own uncle, James Rothschild, but we will explore their story further in later sections. Nathan Rothschild, another son of Mayor Amschel, opened the English branch, while Karl Rothschild established the Italian branch. James Rothschild, the youngest son, ventured to Paris and opened the French branch. The Rothschild family's practice of intermarriage traces its origins back to the 1800s, a pivotal period in the family's history marked by strategic alliances and intricate kinship ties. As the grandchildren of Mayor Amschel Rothschild, the founder of the Rothschild dynasty, came of age, they embarked on a series of marriages with their first cousins, hailing from various branches of the family tree. This deliberate intermingling of bloodlines formed the bedrock of the Rothschild family's enduring legacy and played a crucial role in shaping its trajectory for generations to come. One of the most notable examples of intermarriage within the Rothschild clan was the union between Amschel Rothschild and Charlotte Rothschild, who were first cousins. Their marriage, which united 2 prominent branches of the family, resulted in the birth of 3 children, Caroline, Matilda, and Albert. Similarly, Nathan Rothschild, another scion of the Rothschild dynasty, followed suit by marrying his first cousin Charlotte from the Italian branch, daughter of Karl Rothschild. This union also yielded 3 children, Leonora, Elena, and Nathan. These intermarriages formed the threads of a complex tapestry of familial relationships that bound the various branches of the Rothschild dynasty together. Through strategic unions with their first cousins, the Rothschilds ensured the preservation and consolidation of their vast wealth and influence, while also solidifying their position as one of the preeminent financial dynasties of the 19th century. Beyond their strategic implications, these marriages also served to reinforce the bonds of kinship and loyalty within the family, fostering a sense of unity and cohesion that transcended geographical and cultural divides. In marrying within their own bloodline, the Rothschilds forged connections that extended beyond mere business partnerships, laying the groundwork for a network of trust and mutual support that would endure for generations. In essence, the practice of intermarriage among the Rothschilds represented not only a pragmatic approach to preserving wealth and power, but also a testament to the strength of familial ties and the enduring legacy of a dynasty whose influence continues to reverberate across the annals of history. Louise, daughter of Nathan Rothschild, married her first cousin, Mayor Karl, son of Karl Rothschild. Their union brought forth 3 children, Adele, Emma, and Laura. Emma, intriguingly, married her second cousin, Nathan, from the English branch, breaking the tradition of cousin marriages. Moving on to Karl Rothschild's line, his 2 additional children, Annalie and Wilhelm, both married their first cousin
once removed Caroline and Matilda from the Austrian.
Okay, do that ring a bell? What you hear? Does that ring a bell for anybody?
It kind of dawned on me about how the um, the family of what's his name? Oh, no, sir. I mean, it rings a bell, but I can't get the names out of the family tree of. I'm
So
sorry.
Esau,
Go ahead.
these
Yes, sir.
Rothschilds is Edomites. So Esau was raised by Abraham, right?
Yes, sir.
Who Abraham married?
He married. I don't.
He married his brother, his daddy uncle daughter, Sarah.
Yes, sir.
So then you come to find out Enoch married Naomi. Noah married Naomi. Naomi is Enoch got a daughter named Naomi. So that's his uncle, his great uncle or whatever. But they doing the same thing. Whereas they got us thinking that they just cousins and stuff and all that. No, it's a certain point you get
Bloodline.
to. Yeah, bloodline don't match. It don't have nothing to do with nothing. But they got us thinking that. But we see Abraham on Adam's side, they was doing that. They doing it. Like I said, Most High says, 7 days, 6 years, you till the ground, and 7 years you allow the rest. They doing it. We see in 2000, they came over, they attacked the World Trade Center, 2001. 7 years later, they collapsed. You had this big 2008 collapse. They working just everything they're doing is a blueprint from the Creator, but it's in wickedness. So they doing everything that we do. We had records of books. They concocted books. New Testament. We had our Old Testament. They got a New Testament. Everything they're doing is a duplicate of. They have no life. They have no culture. Everything they're doing is duplicate of us.
Yes,
Without
sir.
our help. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I noticed that their names, as they were talking, they have
It's
a lot of biblical names in that lineage, that Rothschild's lineage. They have biblical names
right.
to
So
get
like
you in the thoughts of, when you say Jacob, then you think about Jacob is a good one. When they say Adam, and then those names is coming up.
right. We see in Genesis chapter 4, we got 2 Enochs. We got 2 Lamechs. This ain't just started. And this is one of the ways they heal themselves. And like I said before, this is another reason how they able to fool the world to think that they are the Israelites, because the curses that's on us is in Deuteronomy 28. Well, they being punished too in Ezekiel 35 for what they done to us. So blood is following them, and it looked like they are the people because of the catastrophe is following them. But he told them that he said after what they done, we was talking about it last night on Clubhouse, that he said Isaac, let's look at it. Isaac, when Isaac pronounced that the blessing that he gave to Jacob, then Esau wanted one. But it's only one, right? So let's look at it. So he says, okay. I think it's in 28.
27.
Yeah, it's in 27 verse 27 chapter, Genesis 27:30. And it came to pass as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarcely gone out of his presence of Isaac, his father, that Esau, his brother, came in from hunting, and he also had made a savory meat and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise and eat his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. Right? So it's only one. That's why he wanted that savory meat, because he had this union with Esau. And so he wanted him to bring that meat. When he give it to him, it's gonna raise up his spirit, and he's gonna bless Esau in the process. But it's not Esau, Jacob there. And then 33, and Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, who and where is he that's taken the venison and brought it to me? And I have eaten all before thou camest, and I have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed. So he can't retract it. It's a one-time thing. And Isaac got it, and now can't get it ain't but one. So then it says in 34, and when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceedingly bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father. So it ain't but one blessing. He already got it. So then 35, and he said, thy brother came with subtlety and have taken away thy blessing. And he said, is not it rightly named Jacob, for he have supplanted me these 2 times. He have taken away my birthright, and behold, now he have taken away the blessing. And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? No, you don't have no blessing. It's only one. And then 37 is where the problem coming in at. Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord, and his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? So what could I do? Because I only one blessing. So here we go. Now he says, and Esau said unto his father, had thou but one blessing, my father, bless me, even me also, my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and he wept. So here you go. So he prophesied to Esau, and he said, and Esau and Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling place, it shall be the fatness of the earth. So what are you talking about? How they living? They got all the wealth. They're in the fat places. They got all these mansions and castles all over the world. They live in the fat places of the earth, right? And the dew of heaven from above, and thy sword shall thou live. That's how they give you. Through banking, through getting these armies, because of the wealth they have, they're getting these mercenary armies and all that, and chiefly putting them in different places, like with JFK. We didn't come to find out that it was the Messiah that killed him. Like the guy said, it wasn't no, when he came down that strip in Dallas, it was more than one person shooting at him. It was an array of bullets coming from different angles. Secret Service, Mossad, Secret came. It was a wholesale slaughter. So that's how he's living, by the sword. In the fat places of the earth. But like he said, you're not gonna. I put Jacob over you. That blessing still reverberating from when he said it. Can't nothing they can do about it. So what we're looking at with them is they trying to hang on best they can with these the prophecies coming to pass. And ain't nothing they can do about it, but they trying to come up with all these different ways, AI included, to figure out some kind of way to usurp this what was said by Isaac right here. And they can't. Like I just showed you in Isaiah, in Psalms 83, Esau, there's no coziness. He the culprit. He the number one leader, the ring leader of the people that did away with our understanding of who we were, because they have everything to gain from it. And like I said, everything he's doing, he was raised. Esau was raised by Abraham. So all he's doing is duplicating everything that he learned. He's using it against us. Everything that's we done today is biblical. Like you said, even down to the names. They got Israelite names, first names. of our forefathers. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to say one thing. Even when I think her name is Rebecca, when she was carrying them, she felt them fighting in her belly, and she asked the Lord why, and He said that they're going to be the two against each other. So again, they was never going to be together. They've been fighting ever since before they even came out of the belly. And then
Right.
he was hairy, and Jacob was smooth skinned, but at the time of Isaac's death, he was blind, so he could not tell who was who. And when Rebecca put the coat on, the goat skin on Jacob's arm, he thought he was Esau when he gave him that blessing.
Right. And the creator, the Lord of hosts, Esau was blind, Isaac was blind.
Yes, sir.
It was all set, it was already set up. He was blind because Isaac loved Esau. He was going to give him the blessing. If the Creator hadn't had him blind, he was going to give Esau the blessing. And we'd be living in a whole different world today, but he blinded him. He was blind for a reason. And it was because of, he knew that Esau was wicked as hell, but he still loved him. So that's the reason he's blind. For what happened is it just happened. Okay?
Yes, sir.
But nobody talks about that, but yeah.
Side. These marriages further intertwined the family branches. The last piece of the puzzle lies within James Rothschild's line. James himself married his niece Betty, daughter of his older brother Salomon. Their union resulted in 4 children, Charlotte, Mayor Salomon, and Edmund. The complexity of their relationships is truly astonishing. Returning to Nathan's line, his son Nathaniel married Charlotte, and their first cousins, James and Laura, married each other. It's worth noting that their children did not follow the tradition of marrying relatives, breaking the cycle of intermarriage. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Roth.
For any man with a swollen prostate, do not
in different branches. Betty from the Austrian branch married her uncle from the French branch, resulting in a daughter who married into the English branch. This daughter's son then married into the Italian branch, showcasing the family's desire to leave their mark in every branch of the Rothschild dynasty. Despite the shocking intermarriages and complex relationships within the family, it is important to note that these unions were not uncommon during the time period. Many noble and wealthy families propelled them into the upper echelons of European and American society, where their wealth and connections afforded them unprecedented influence and access to corridors of power. As financial titans with a global footprint, they wielded considerable sway in shaping the course of international politics and economics, earning them a coveted seat at the table alongside world leaders and decision makers. Armed with their immense fortunes and extensive networks, the Rothschilds leveraged their influence to advance causes close to their hearts, often drawing upon their Jewish heritage as a guiding force. With a keen awareness of the historical injustices faced by Jewish communities across Europe, the Rothschilds became staunch advocates for Jewish rights and empowerment, using their platform to champion initiatives aimed at combating discrimination and promoting social equality. Nathan Rothschild, one of the most prominent members of the family, famously stated, "The man who controls Britain's money supply controls the British Empire." This quote reflects the family's belief in the power of financial control and its impact on political affairs. The Rothschilds understood that their influence over the world's finances gave them the ability to shape the course of nations. Their involvement in politics extended beyond financial matters. The Rothschilds played a significant role in European and American political landscapes, often acting as trusted advisors to leaders and diplomats. Their vast network of connections are...
So let's look at this right quick. We know that during the time of Israel, our forefathers, David, Solomon, and all them, they had the same wealth. They didn't use it in this way. So that's the real woman. Well, you got Esau, that's the whore. He got the same wealth. But look how he using it. So this the whore that's riding on the beast. He got the same, even the wealth he got came from Esau, from Jacob's wealth, when Jacob failed. So we see what Cyrus brought out the treasury and gave to Zerubbabel to go back to rebuild the temple. Gold, wealth. He gave it to him. He was just returning it from what Nebuchadnezzar had took it. and he gave it back to him, and it went back to Jerusalem and rebuilt the temple. So, like I was saying before, even Adam, he tells you all the gold that Adam had, and Havila and the onyx stone and all that stuff. They had the wealth, but they had it and they used it righteously. They got the same wealth. Just the way they use it. Not only that, they twisting the Most High's words that he had his prophets and all them to write down to their advantage.
Shalom. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. In to that, in Proverbs 13:22, it says, "A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, but a center of wealth is laid upon the righteous." What does that quote, that patches mean?
Okay. So that goes back to David when he says, he's never seen a righteous man begging bread.
Thank you. But that kind of contributes to what's going on right now.
What's that?
That kind of contribute to what's going right now, how all the rich is going to be done without their riches.
Yeah, it's gonna come to naught. He says, like a green bay tree. One day you see it, the next day it's gone. That's what the same thing with these people. It's only a time period that they're gonna do last, and then they're gonna go away. So that's how they go. They trying to usurp Most High's prophecies that's been prophesied, and they can't. It's coming to pass, like he said.
Political landscapes and exert influence behind the scenes. The family's commitment to their Jewish heritage has also manifested in their philanthropic endeavors. They have supported numerous Jewish causes, including the establishment of synagogues, educational institutions, and charitable organizations. Their contributions have had a lasting impact on Jewish communities around the world, further solidifying their legacy as champions of their heritage. Despite their commitment to their Jewish identity, the Rothschilds have faced accusations and conspiracy theories rooted in anti-Semitism. These unfounded claims have perpetuated harmful stereotypes and fueled prejudice against the family. However, their resilience and determination to uphold their values have allowed them to rise above these challenges and continue making a significant impact on the world stage. The Rothschilds' influence in European and American politics cannot be overstated. Their ability to navigate complex political landscapes and shape the course of nations.
So they got these and this right here has to be understood. Like I was saying before, this is why JC got his high red. I told you he read it. Every picture once you peep game on this, you see all this every time, all the pictures they got. Even if you can have a black and white picture, but you're gonna see where they're gonna make sure it's high red. You can see tints of red in his hair. But it's because of these people. They're the ones behind the photos and the pictures that are going all over the place because they know who he is. These redheads, the Medomites, right? So they make a point to do that, and we being not ignorant to all what has happened and who these people are and the prophecies that we don't see. But once the light being shined on it, or the Most High pour Spirit out on you, and you start seeing these things, you see how consistent they is. And it's no shame in the game. Okay? Let me more display, I'm gonna read out of
is a testament to their power and influence. Their commitment
Jubilee
to their Jewish heritage has not only shaped their identity, but also influenced their approach to business, philanthropy, and political affairs. In all these, why does the death of Jacob Rothschild have such an impact?
Jacob Rothschild of the Rothschild banking dynasty has died at the age of 87. His family is remembering him as a towering presence and passion.
This was last week.
Can I show you something that kind of messed me up?
charities.
Legacy. Jacob Rothschild, the fourth Baron Rothschild, was born in 1936 into a family with a long-standing history in banking. His father, Victor Rothschild, was the third Baron Rothschild, and his mother, Barbara Hutchinson, came from a prominent British family. From a young age, Jacob was exposed to the world of finance and business as discussions of investments and economic trends filled the air in his household. Growing up in a privileged environment, Jacob received a top-notch education. He attended Eton College, one of the most prestigious schools in the United Kingdom, where he excelled academically and developed a keen interest in economics. It was during his time at Eton that he began to understand the power and influence that finance held in shaping the world. After completing his education at Eton, Jacob went on to study at Christ Church, Oxford. It was at Oxford that he further honed his understanding of economics and finance, laying the foundation for his future endeavors. He immersed himself in the study of financial markets, economic theories, and investment strategies, eager to make his mark in the world of finance. Upon graduating from Oxford, Jacob Rothschild faced a pivotal decision. He had the opportunity to join the family banking dynasty, which had been built over generations, or to forge his own path. Despite the allure of continuing the family legacy, Jacob chose to break away and establish his own identity in the financial world. In the 1960s, Jacob Rothschild founded his own company, RIT Capital Partners. This move marked a significant departure from the Rothschild banking dynasty, as Jacob sought to prove himself as an independent and innovative financier. With RIT Capital Partners, he aimed to create a platform that would allow him to explore new investment opportunities and build his own financial empire. Jacob's early years in finance were marked by a series of notable achievements and milestones. He quickly gained a reputation for his astute investment strategies and his ability to navigate the complex world of finance. His keen eye for emerging markets and his understanding of global economic trends allowed him to generate substantial wealth for himself and his clients. One of Jacob Rothschild's early successes came in the 1970s when he foresaw the potential of investing in emerging markets. While many were skeptical of the economic prospects of countries such as Brazil and China at the time, Jacob recognized their untapped potential. He made bold investments in these markets, which paid off.
So you think there's a coincidence that his name Jacob? Think about that. You got his name Jacob, but he didn't stole Israel. They didn't stole Israel heritage, and his name Jacob, but he's an Edomite. Okay, check this out. It says if they have curses on them, why do they live a long time? Well, it goes back to just like now. Whatever technology that's at that time, they have all the wealth of them, so they're able to access that technology to live a long time. That's all it is. That's all tied to what Isaac told him. He said, you're gonna live in the fat places of the earth but you're gonna be there because of the sword. You got all the wealth because of you coming along with the you using the sword, using war and usury to get you to be in the fat places of the earth. And then, like I was saying last night, it's tied to he ended up eventually becoming one. Edom. He merged with the Japhet. Japhet and Esau came together as one, which is what Rome is. The Chechem is one of Esau's Japhet's sons named Chechem, and Esau and Chechem came together and became one nation. So they merged together. Japhet is the one that we go back to Genesis chapter 4 with the weapons and Tubal-Cain, artificial iron and brass. He the one started making the swords. Lucifer, Samuel, whatever you want to call him, came to him showing him how to make weapons of war, how to make mail and all that stuff. And so those two eventually became one people. That's who the fourth beast is. And so that's why they have access to all the technology of the world. Then when it comes to them living long, they got all the technology on and the sciences on how to live as long as they possibly can. Yeah. So that's how that works. Okay. Anybody else have anything? or
Yes,
move
sir.
on?
Shalom. Yes, sir. Right quick. That's, reading a little story on them. That is why his son, Jacob and Nate, his son, had a lot of tension, was because Nate went against the grain. They was calling him rebellious, right? Because he married
Right.
outside of the family.
Right.
And I had to think about that when you was breaking that down, and it makes a lot of sense to me now. And when it comes to them living a long time, they have a lot of ties with Elon Musk and
Right.
Gates, which is always trying to come up with some type of concoction on to stay looking young and live a long time and so forth. So the Rothschilds Foundation has a lot of ties with Elon Musk and Bill Gates, which I think Nate, Jacob's son, has started a company that is tied to Tesla. So there's a lot of ties with them, within that. And Elon Musk is always doing something. If you see how he look like he's always full of Botox, but there's some type of injections that he's doing to, think he's going to live a long time and stay looking the same
Right.
as he was 21. Yes, sir.
Right. And that's the spirit. That's the spirit that they didn't put on us when they was tampering with our bodies, with the BBLs and all that. They didn't put that spirit on us, and that was prophesied that we was going to do that. He said he's going to cast us out amongst them, and then we was going to pick up their ways and start dealing with their knowledge, dealing with their their mindset and their gods. Like I said, it started out. I mean, look how Michael Jackson went out. He started out looking like a Negro with a big nose, wide nose, and all that. He tried to change all that. They don't. That's a gift that the Creator gave you, your genetics. But these people don't respect that. It's like they saying the Creator made a mistake, and they can change it. If I don't have this or I don't have that, I can go get it and make it happen. If I don't have no lips, I can go get some lips. I can alter my body, and now that spirit is on us. And we doing the same thing. Ain't that something?
Yes,
You see it
sir.
all over the place.
Shalom.
You see it all over the place. Okay?
Shalom. It was we they had one YouTube on saying that because of the makeup of our melanated skin and our DNA, that they're extracting things so they can make up a chemical or something that they can use because they know um, the faux thing is that black don't crack and how black people are living longer. So they want to know what's going on and they are experimenting, just like I don't know, the scientist lady, the lady who they're continuing or has used her blood for a lot of things, making, taking her blood and saying they're getting cures for certain diseases. Um, I don't remember her name, but they are using those things also to keep themselves looking younger and trying to, like I say, live longer.
Right. And that's a misnomer too. Them saying that. How is that? How is that one black woman had this special type of blood? No, it's all of us got that blood. It's one of the signs that show you that we are a different breed of people than they are. We ain't come from the same place. But they want you to think that this one woman had that special blood. No, all the Israelites got it. Just like with in Vietnam, they was bringing those black soldiers back from Vietnam. Like I said, they had already targeted them. They were trying to destroy the black family by killing off the firstborn son and all that. So when they was bringing them back, they always had these secret laboratories, just like now, all over Africa. They want research on us, on our bodies, and and they found out that when they cut the head open, and the brain, it was a bioluminescent little body part in there called the pineal gland. It was still alive. That's when they research escalated, when they found that out. And so all these different types of drugs and stuff that they're using now to throw us off, they got it from when they discovered that pineal gland and what it done. So it secretes a substance within our system, within our bloodstream that they don't have. And they found that out. And so, like I said, AI, everything you're dealing with now, a lot of it is coming from that. Once they got the research and they so barbaric, they would go in and just cut that pineal gland out and eat it. When they found out the significance of it, that's all the movie Hannibal Lecter is about. That's what he was doing. He was eating the pineal gland. They're still doing it. And so, like I was saying before, because we don't come up with that type of mind. We've been caged in and neutralized by saying this is what you read, like with the Bible. Read these 66 books. You don't need to read nothing else. So Negroes doing that. Now we starting to the mind that they actually gave us, which is expansive, we starting to use that. But for the longest, our grandmothers, great grandfathers, and all them, they was boxed in. Listening to what they told them, what they tell them to do, they was doing. And so all that's being neutralized by the Creator. And the Lord of hosts, he's breaking all them walls down. Like I said, it's obvious that the New Testament, Old Testament, totally different. They came from two different places, two different gods, two different people wrote these books. And it's all because of, like I said, where we at. He's been prophesied that he's going to pour his spirit out on us, and he's going to change all that. And that's what's happening. And they're trying everything they can to subvert that, try to make it last longer, make their reign last longer, but time is up. So yeah, this video was you want to watch all of it. I'll just kind of bounce through it. It's new discoveries after Jacob Rothschild's death changed everything. You want to check it out? Okay. So like I said, I was going to read out of the Book of Jubilees, pertaining to it's kind of tied to the creation story, but it's got a little more information in it that I was looking at. I want to talk about it, share it a little bit. So this is chapter 2 in the Book of Jubilees, and it says, "Angel of the present spake to Moses according to the word of the Lord, saying, write the complete history of the creation, how in 6 days the Lord God finished all his work and all that he created, and he kept Shabbat on the 7th day and hallowed it for all ages, and appointed it as a sign for all his work." So I want to look at that right quick. So this right here, what I was telling you, time was set up right here because of when you go to the Book of Jubilees, it's broken up in 50-year increments. That's how our forefathers, that's how we keep time. That's how time. That's what's tied to the universe, is these jubilees. It's how you keep time. And so, what was the purpose of it? The purpose of the jubilees was after every 50 years, however things was before the 50 years, you got to go back to that. And so what it does is keep people like these people from amassing all the money. Because if you have a slave that you acquired within those 50 years, and when the Jubilee comes, that man got to go back where he came from. You can't keep him. You can't keep working him or doing whatever you're doing to him. He has to go back. If you acquire some land a vineyard or whatever, it had to go back where it came from after 50 years. So let's look at that. Like I said, Esau, he created usury, and Cain, this is the curse that's on Cain right here. Let's look at it. Okay, so it says, Cain, the curse of Cain, chapter 4, Genesis, verse 10. And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother cried, thy brother's blood cried unto me from the ground. And now thou art cursed from the earth, which has opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy face. Now here it is, 12. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee the strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be in the earth. Right? So what is that? That's somebody go from one place to the next. He can't no longer receive from, he was started out as a tiller of the ground. But the Most High took the melanin from him right here. This is the curse. He turned him white, which is ain't nothing new. He did it to Miriam. He did it to showed it to Moses. Turned Moses' hand white. He turned the fallen angels white. Turned Samuel white. So it's nothing new. So these people is going around from place to place robbing and stealing. So guess what? The last thing they want to do is deal with jubilees. That's why they got rid of jubilees. They don't want to keep time by jubilees. Okay? So that's the purpose of that. So when they came on, when the Antiochus came and ran the Israelites out, that was the first thing they did. They don't want to deal with no jubilee. They secretly, that's another thing I want to talk about. Apocrypha mean hidden books. Well, who hid them? They hid them. So they don't want us dealing with them. They don't want us dealing with that understanding. So they took the jubilee out. Like I said, they using it secretly. They using it and they're amassing wealth with it. But they don't want us who it belonged to apply these things. So they took out the jubilee. That's how they brought in the usury, the banking system, and war and all that. And they're amassing wealth. The jubilee, if you keep it like you're supposed to, it's not going to allow you to do that. So anyway, and like I said, it says after 50 years, everything go back to it was. Well, yeah, if it started out, the Israelites had the X amount of wealth and whatever. After 50 years, then it go back to them. So they had to tear that whole system down. They don't want us understanding none of that. So anyway, this is Jubilee 2 and chapter 2, verse 2. For on the first day he created the heavens which are above, and the earth, and the waters, and all the spirits which serve before him, and the angel of the presence, and the angels of sanctification, and the angels of spirits of fire, and the angels of the spirit of wind, and the angels of the spirit of clouds, and of darkness, and of snow, and of hail, and of hoarfrost, and the angels of the voices, and of the thunders, and of the living, and of the angels of the spirits of cold and heat, and of winter, and of spring, and of autumn, and of summer, and of all the spirits of his creatures which are in the heavens and on the earth. He created the abyss and the darkness, eventide and night, and the light, dawn and day, which he have prepared in the knowledge of his heart. So let's look at this. So we know about, remember when flood came, and he said that he's never again going to change spring, summer, winter, and fall no more. It's going to continue to operate the way in the sequence. It's a cycle. It's going to keep on happening. But look at this. Check it out. It says, and the angels of the spirit of the clouds, and the angels of darkness, the angels of snow and hail and of frost, and the angels of the voices of thunder and lightning. Here you go right here. And the angels of the spirit of cold and heat, and of winter, and of spring, and of autumn, and of summer. So these angels controlling the seasons. But go back to what these nutbuckets had told us. So these angels, when the Creator said, when he said that he never again was, it's always going to be seed time and harvest. He's never going to change it again. Well, he had to give his commandments to these angels for that to happen. So ever since then, this cycle that we looking at, it's spirits, angels behind it. That's that from me. So anyway, verse 3 says, and thereupon we saw his works and praised him and looted before him on account of all his works. And 7 great works did he create on the first day. They say, okay. And on the second day, he created the firmament in the midst of the waters, and the waters were divided on that day. Half of them went up to above, and half of them went down below the firmament that was in the midst of over the face of the whole earth. And this was the only work God created in the 8 on 7 day. Okay, excuse me. Says, and this was the only work God created on the second day. And on the third day, he commanded the waters to pass from off the face of the earth into one place, and the dry land appeared. And the waters did so as he commanded them, and they retired from off the face of the earth into one place outside of the firmament, and the dry land appeared. And on that day, he created for them all the seeds according to their separate seeds in their separate gathering places, and all the rivers, and the gathering of the water in the mountains, and on the earth, and all the lakes, and all the dew of the earth, and the seeds, seed which is sown, and all sprouting things, and fruit-bearing trees, and trees of wood, and the Garden of Eden in Eden, and all the plants after their kind. And these are the 4 great works which he created on the third day. So I want to shine light on that. So it says, verse 7, on the third day, on that day, he created for them all the seas according to their separate gathering places, and all the rivers, and all the gatherings of the waters in the mountains, and on all the earth, and in the lakes, and all the dew of the earth. And then here it goes right here. This before he created any man. And the seed, which is sown. So that's in the, he put it in the ground right here. Right here. He's and the seed which is sown, and all sprouting things, and fruit-bearing trees, trees of the wood, and the Garden of Eden, and all plants after their kind. So he did all this before he even created the man. So even to the day, like I said, you can take a shovel, get a topsoil, and put it in a pot, and then when that time of the year come around, it's gonna sprout. So my point is this: that ain't just come out of nowhere. He put that there. Everything was placed where it's supposed to be at. And then just we sometimes we get beside ourselves thinking that certain things just do what they do for the hell of it. No, he set all that in place. The earth, what we see the earth doing now it's doing what he's designed it to do from the very beginning. It had a starting point. Okay, then verse 8. And on the 4th day, he created the sun and the moon and the stars. Check this out. On the 4th day, he created the sun and the moon and the stars and set them in the firmament of the heavens, right? To give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. So let's look at that. So it says in verse let me see, verse 3, it says, thereupon he saw his works and he praised it, and he looted. Let me get this. Right here. Verse 4. I'm tripping. Verse 4 says, on the second day he created the firmament. That's the sky that we look up at, the clouds, right? First heaven. He created the firmament in the midst of the waters. So if you go back, you notice there was water covering the whole earth. So he took half of the water, took it up, then the firmament that we see, where the airplanes, birds flying in, all that, he put it in water. He put the firmament in between them. He put water above. That's how you get condensation. There's water in the above and water on the earth and water in the earth. But this is the thing about that. He made the firmament right there. Ain't no sun and moon. Let's look at it. On the second day, he created the firmament in the midst of the waters, and the waters were divided on that day. So that's second day. So he created the water, divided the water, put the firmament in between that. Right? That's the second day. Now we go over here to the fourth day. On the fourth day, he created the sun, the moon, the stars, and set them in the firmament of heaven. Come on. See that? It says to give light upon the earth and to rule over the day and the night and divide the light from the darkness. So over here in verse 4, there wasn't no damn sun and moon. The firmament was there, but wasn't no sun and moon. He didn't put it in place until the fourth day. Then 9, God appointed the sun to be a great sign on the earth for days, for Sabbaths, for months, and for feasts, and for the years, and for the Sabbaths of the years, and for the Jubilees. See that? You never would have thought that. Jubilees is in the creation. And for Jubilees, and for all seasons of the years. And it divided the light from the darkness, and for prosperity, that all things may prosper, which shoot and grow on the earth. So back to what I just said. When he created when he brought the water up and all that, he put seeds in the earth, in the soil. And now in verse 10, and it divided the light from the darkness and from prosperity, that all things may prosper, which shoot and grow on the earth. Sun did that. So, like I said, let's go back to the Egyptians and show you how the difference in mankind, different in the Israelites, different in Adam's seed. Adam's seed know this. The Egyptian worshiping the damn sun right here that the Creator created. They're a high culture, but they worshiping the sun. So he says, God appointed the sun to be a great sign. So he created the sun. Egyptians worshiping him on the earth for days, Sabbaths, months, for feasts, for years, Sabbaths of years, for jubilees, for all seasons of the years. And it divided the light from the darkness. So when he put the sun up there, back to these nut buckets, when he put the sun up there, it divided the light from the darkness for prosperity, that all things may prosper, which shoot and grow on the earth. These three things, three kinds, he made on the fourth day. And on the fifth day, he created great sea monsters in the depths of the waters. For these were the first things of flesh that he created by his hand. Yeah, that's what I was telling you about. So the first thing of flesh that he created on the fifth day was animals in the sea. They were created by his hands, formed them. The fish and everything that moves in the waters and everything that flies, the birds and all that kind. And the sun rose above them to prosper them, and above everything that was on the earth, everything that shoots out of the earth, and all fruit-bearing trees and all flesh, these three kinds he created on the fifth day. So, like I said before, he separated the water, put the firmament in there, and then wasn't shit growing. It's when he created the sun that grew. Sun making everything work. To this day, sun making everything move. You wouldn't have figured that the birds in the sky got anything to do with the sun. But the sun controlling all that. Says, and that's why the Egyptians were so fascinated, not understanding that it was somebody behind it. Says 13, and on the sixth day he created all the animals of the earth and all cattle and everything that moves on the earth. And after all this, he created man, and a woman created he them, and gave him dominion over all that is upon the earth and in the seas, and over everything that flies, and over the beasts, and over cattle, and over everything that moves on the earth, and over the whole earth, and over all this he gave him dominion. And these four kinds he created on the sixth day. And there was altogether 22 kinds. And he finished all his work on the sixth day, all that is in the heavens and on the earth and in the seas and in the abyss and in the light and in the darkness and in everything. And he gave us a great sign, the Sabbath day, seventh day, that it should work 6 days, but keep a Sabbath on the seventh day from all his work. And all the angels of the present and all the angels of sanctification, these two great classes, he are hitting us to keep, the Sabbath with him in heaven and on the earth. And he blessed and said unto us, behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all these people, and these were to keep the Sabbath day, and I will sanctify them unto myself as my people, and will bless them as I have sanctified the Sabbath day, and do sanctify it unto myself. Even so shall I bless them, and they will be my people, and I will be their God. So let's look at that right quick. And like I said before, there's no way under the sun you're gonna see this unless you got a good foundation. So it says, I talk about a 6-day man, 7-day man, right? So we see right here, verse 16. He finished. This is Jubilees, chapter 2, verse 16. And he finished all his work on the 6th day, right? All that is in the heavens and on the earth and in the seas and in the abyss and in the light and in the darkness and in everything. It says, and he gave us a sign, right? The Sabbath day, that we should work 6 days, but keep the Sabbath on the 7th day from all his work. So let's look at that and look at what they done in the King James. So the 6th day, he created a 6-day man, created a man and a woman. Then look at this. You go to Genesis chapter 3, I think it is. Yeah, you go to Genesis chapter 2, right? And it says, on the 6th day, he created a man and a woman. Then verse chapter 2, it says, thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. And on the 7th day, God rested. God ended his work which he had created and made. He rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had created and made. God blessed the 7th day, sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which he had created and made. Then it says, these are the generations of the heavens and the earth, and they were created in the day that the Lord God had made the heavens and the earth. Now 5. And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. So right here, when we read the Jubilees, they twisted it off another way. But after he had finished the 7th day, then he made the man and gave that man the Sabbath day. He wanted. Let's look at it. He says, after he did all that, it was they showing in Genesis. It says over here, he gave us a great sign, the Sabbath day, that we should that we should work 6 days, but keep the Sabbath on the 7th day from all his work. Here you go. And all the angels of the present and all the angels of sanctification, these two classes, he had hidden us to keep the Sabbath with him in heaven and on earth. There you go. And he said unto us, this is 6th-day man, right? And he said unto us, the 7th-day, the 8th-day man. And he said unto us, behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all the people. These will keep the Shabbat. This is 6th-day man, the 8th-day man, right here. It says, and every plant of the field, this is in Genesis chapter 2, verse 5, and every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. So this is the man he separated to himself and gave him the Shabbat. It says, and the Lord God formed the man from the dust of the ground, breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and this man became a living soul. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward of Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. So there it is right there. That's when, after he rested on the made the Shabbat, that's when the 8th-day man came. Gave him the Shabbat. He's different than everything he had created before that. Matter of fact, everything that we read he created and made was for that man that he finally made. And then, like I said, we see that he created him first. Then he seen that he needed to help him. Then he created a woman for him. Okay. Any questions or comments before we go? Somebody got anything they want to add to that or any questions? Everybody good?
Yes, sir. I'm good.
Nobody have no questions. I'm gonna close it out right here. We're almost at 2 hours. Okay. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom, everyone.
Okay. I'll see y'all this evening at 6 o'clock for to close out the Shabbat.